Hi beautiful weirdos, it's Charlotte here from Pretty Scary, and today I am filming another collab. I'm all about the collab at the moment and it's all on Instagram. Today it's Creepy Victorian with the beautiful and very talented Samantha Daly. So good they named her twice. Here is her Instagram. Go give her some love and say hi from Pretty Scary. And yeah, when I was researching Creepy Victorian, I came across a doll called Frozen Charlotte. And seeing as my name was Charlotte, I thought this was just meant to be. I've got to be this Frozen Charlotte. Now, Frozen Charlotte was a porcelain doll, which a lot of children had in Victorian times. It was often baked into a cake or a Christmas pudding, so that when the children were eating the Christmas pudding, they would find this doll hidden inside. Sounds a little bit dangerous if you ask me, but that's what they did. There were tiny little versions of it. There were larger versions, which children used to take into the bath with them. So they were like early bath toys. And they were kind of made of porcelain, and they were very shiny and a bit crude looking, but quite cute in a creepy kind of way. And they are now collector's items, and they've got a bit of a sad, creepy backstory because they were actually based on a poem, if you want to call it that, called Young Charlotte or Fair Charlotte, which was all about a young girl who was going to a ball with her beau back in the 1800s at some point. And she was wearing this beautiful dress, and her mum said, "It's really cold outside, Charlotte, you must put a blanket around you." And she was like, "No, Mum, I want to show everybody my amazing dress." And yeah, she froze to death on the way to the ball. And then her beau died of a broken heart, and they both got buried in the same tomb. So yeah, without much further ado, I am going to get started and turn myself into Frozen Charlotte. Oh, and can I just say, look, no roots. No roots. But dreadful nails as usual. So I'm going to stick on my 80s music and I'm going to make a start. So you need to make a start by blocking out your eyebrows. I shall do a more in-depth tutorial on this soon. It won't be the most exciting video, but it will be informative. And now just starting on the Victorian doll hair. I got this idea from another YouTuber who I shall link down below. Basically, you just take sections of the hair, backcomb it at the roots, and then roll it down on itself as if you were putting a roller in, and then pin, and you get this lovely kind of bouffant hairdo. And you basically just do that going all the way around using hairspray, pinning it with Kirby grips. Now I kind of look like Dracula out of the Gary Oldman version. Let's continue. Now these old Frozen Charlottes are a little bit kind of knocked about. They've been played with, they're, you know, made of porcelain, so you want to do a few sort of dents in and around your person. Now I started to do one on my chest and then realised that the skin on my chest was too tight to work with liquid Collodian. So yes, I just ended up doing one on my face, and I put 5 layers of liquid Collodian on and let it dry between each one, and it gives you that puckered effect. Now I'm just taking a piece of cotton wool. This is what I will be using to block out the nose. So just cut it into shape and size, and then dip it in some latex so it's saturated. It's not the best, I'll be honest, because latex does smell rather pungent, but it's bearable. Now just smooth that onto the nose and mould with your fingers. Make sure it's nice and smooth, and then just use a flat spatula to smooth that even more and just blend the edges in as much as possible. Now, if you are going to be wearing this makeup for a party, you will want to leave this step out because it's not the most comfortable. Now I'm just making the nostril shapes by poking the end of a brush, which I've dipped in latex just so it doesn't stick to the drying latex. Just kind of stick it up in there and just kind of twirl it around, and you'll get those nice indentations. Now once that's dry, I'm taking some white Snazaroo face paint and just stippling that all over with a sponge. Now, as I said earlier, these dolls are kind of a bit knocked about, a bit crude looking, so you really don't actually want a perfectly smooth white base for this, but you do want a fairly opaque base, if that makes any sense. So not perfectly smooth, but opaque. And Snazaroo is great for this because it's not the greatest of white bases. There are better ones on the market, but it's perfect for doing this. Now once I've put on a layer with the sponge, I then went in with a brush on some of the points of the face where I wanted it to be really opaque, and then just blended those in with the sponge. Now you just want to basically keep working over the face until you get the desired opacity and the desired look. You can basically just go as kind of mottled as you want, depending on how sort of old and weathered you want your frozen Charlotte doll to look. Make sure you paint right around the eyes so that there's no kind of skin showing through, and obviously paint as much of your body that will be showing too. Now just taking a sort of smoky grey eyeshadow by Laura Mercier and using a big fluffy brush, I'm just going to add some dimension into the face. You want to just add this underneath the chin and a little bit kind of under the nose and anywhere basically where you want to put a little bit of dimension into the face. These dolls did have fairly flat faces, so you don't want to add too much dimension, but just a little bit so the face isn't too sort of flat and white looking. Make sure you use a reference photograph, there's plenty of them online. And then I'm just taking a smaller fluffy brush and just adding a little bit of dimension to the nose. Now you will notice in a moment that I do go a bit over the top with the shading under the eyes. I kind of blend it out and end up looking like I've got black eyes. So yes, it doesn't look good. So I go back in with some white face paint just to correct that. That's the beauty of this look. If you mess up the shading, just go back in with that Snazaroo or whatever white base you're using and sort it out. Just shading a little bit under the nostrils, under the nose even. And then I'm just going in with the black Laura Mercier liquid liner. It's a water activated liquid liner, and I'm just painting in the eyebrows, just getting the basic shape right, and then just thickening those up with a stiff angled brush, and then going in with a finer brush and the same colour to paint in the little nostrils. Now, as I keep saying over and over again, these dolls were quite crude. They weren't perfectly painted by any means, so it actually looks far more authentic if you don't paint the eyebrows and the nostrils perfectly. Now I'm just lining the lids slightly with the same colour and with that stiff angled brush again. You don't want to do a wing as such, you just want to bring it out slightly, a very, very tiny little wing. Just to give the kind of the doll-like eye look. If you have a look at the reference photographs, you will see what I mean. So yeah, just going in with the other eye and doing the same thing there. Gotta touch up those nostrils. And now moving on to the blush. Now just taking a red water-based face paint and stippling that on with a sponge just to get the colour on there. Now again, you don't want this to look too precise, you want it to look like it's been kind of quite crudely painted on with a brush, a sort of a wash of watercolour paint almost. So just put that on there and then go over with some white. And then the little doll lips, just going in with a red lip liner just to get the doll mouth shape. Again, use your reference pictures for this. So the Frozen Charlotte dolls tend to have like little rosebud lips which kind of go out into like a little smile either side. So I'm just drawing that on there, and then taking a red liquid lipstick to paint that on. Liquid lipsticks, because they dry matte, they will stay put better than a normal red lipstick, but if you don't have a liquid lipstick, you can use a normal red lipstick or even a red water-based face paint if you like. So just going over that shape again, that smile shape at the edges, and then taking some of that liquid lipstick and a very fine brush, I'm just going over that smile shape just to deepen the colour a little bit. And there we have it. Now I'm taking a very pale grey shadow and just going into that dent on the face that I created with the liquid Collodian, and also just refining the shadows and adding some in the eye sockets too, just to give a little bit of extra definition to the eyes. Put these on with a fine brush, fine shadow brush, and then blend out with a fluffier shadow brush like I'm doing here. Now the beauty of this makeup is if you do make any mistakes, you can always just go back in with your white like you can see me doing here and just correct it. Now finally, just taking some glycerin to give a shiny look. I researched into how to give a shiny look, and the only product that I could find that was recommended by other SFX artists cost about £200, so I decided against that for obvious reasons. The glycerin doesn't last very long and it does start to lift the colour a little bit underneath, so this is only really any good if you are just doing this for a still photograph. Ain't nobody got time for no greasy shit everywhere from your doll face, okay? If you're going to party, it's best to leave this step out, but it does work rather well and it does look rather creepy. This is the finished frozen Charlotte, and I might sound a little bit odd but I can't even talk. I might sound a little bit odd, and that's because my nose is completely blocked up, and I'm not going to lie, it's not the nicest feeling in the world. You could always just leave off the blocking up bit and just paint your nostrils white and then draw like little brown lines on your nostrils to make them look a bit more doll-like. I think I look pretty creepy actually. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, a creepy frozen doll thumbs up. And please, if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. I've got lots of exciting things coming up. I'll see you all soon. Bye bye.